Mocklink TV and Mocklink Internet, online at mpw.org. Each weekday morning, our local talk segment brings you the people who are helping move our community forward. Let's start the show.
Good morning, AM 860 FM 95.1 KWPC. I'm Jordan Davis. Thanks for joining us here in the studio this morning for Moving Forward. As always, it's brought to you by Muscatine Power and Water. Say hello to Mocklink Phone, your new local phone company. Fiber customers get it now. Switching is easy, and you can keep your old number. Learn more at mpw.org. Again, I'm Jordan Davis. I'm joined in studio this morning from Rebuilding Together, the executive director, Frank Iliff. How are you this morning, Frank?
Pretty good right now, thank you.
Excellent. Well, we're excited to have you in. I'm glad you got here in one piece because it's a little messy outside, isn't it?
It's pretty slicker in some spots. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's not fun. So I know that some of the schools have a little bit of a late start this morning, so they can wait until that warms up a little bit. And
that'd be a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing. Glad everybody's staying safe here this morning. So glad to have you here in studio with us to talk about Rebuilding Together, which is something you're a big part of. You can tell us a little bit about it. What is Rebuilding Together?
Well, Rebuilding Together is part of a national affiliation organization. There's about 145 of us nationwide. There were 3 in Iowa. Now there's only 2 left. The Quad City group, unfortunately, I'm not sure what happened there. But anyway, there's Des Moines, Greater Des Moines, and Rebuilding Together Muscatine County, which is the one that I'm affiliated with, and I started in 2007. And here we are, over 100 projects since then, and
wow.
And work on people's homes, keep them safe, keep them warm, and keep them in their home.
Yeah, that's important. And so what is it that you guys do specifically? What are some of the key aspects of what you do?
Well, it's an application process. People go online or get our application and through our website and fill it out, get it to us. I go over the paperwork, make sure that their income, it's income guided. So we work with low-income homeowners, make sure that they do indeed own the home, and then we set up a date and go to inspect the home and see, because the application never tells the whole story.
Right.
So we go through with our team of house captains and go through and inspect the home and find out what it is that they do need. And then we go through and figure out the budget and figure out when we can go in and do it. Our big day is always April, the end of April, last Saturday of April. This year it's April 27th. But we go in and find out what it is they do need and set it up, set the day, and how many people we need to be there, and the whole bit. And that's what we do. We'll work on 7 to 10 projects all in one day. It's called a blitz. We 8 or 9 hour day, and go in and get it all done in one day.
That's excellent. And you said that's going to be April 27th, and that's,
yes.
Do you guys call it Rebuilding Together Day? Is that what
it's called? Actually, we call it National Rebuilding Together Day.
Gotcha.
Most of the affiliates nationwide, of the 145, there's probably 125 or 30 of them will be doing something on that day. There will be tens of thousands of volunteers come out.
That's awesome.
Working on projects anywhere from city parks to cleaning up alleyways to putting in bathroom doors to fixing bathtubs or whatever's needed.
Mm-hmm.
We rebuild bathrooms and kitchens and sometimes put a roof on the house and do whatever it takes to keep people safe.
Yeah, and it's amazing what that kind of group can do. So you said tens of thousands of people could be volunteering for that. I read yesterday that there was, and I don't know 100% the validity of this, but I did read this yesterday that I think it was in the very early 1900s, 10,000 farmers and other people and other volunteers got together and built a road across Iowa in one day.
That's pretty industrious.
Yeah, I'm pretty. But if my information is correct, and I googled it to do a little backup, and the source that I found was like a Wikipedia source. So who knows the validity of that? But it's amazing what 10,000 plus people can get done in just a day.
It's amazing what a neighborhood can do when they all pull together. That's the way they used to build barns. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a man and his wife or his man and his sons that built that barn. It was a neighborhood that got together. The men are with their horses and whatever teams built these 2-3 story buildings, these barns, and the men would be working with the teams and the lumber and everything, and the ladies are cooking lunch and bringing, and it was a whole big community effort. Everybody got together and everybody went and put up a barn at a certain address, and that's what they did. That's what they used to do. This is really similar. Mm-hmm. We have the volunteer day, like I said, April 27th, but we will have people come together that had never met each other until that day. We've had examples of one where there was, and I've told the story before, but 2 young ladies never knew each other. They were on the same project. They're painting the side of a garage. They get to talking. They both got 3 kids. They go to the same school. So boom, all of a sudden, here's a contact, here's a friend, and it just moves on. And there's people stay connected after our Rebuilding Together Day. So it's a fun thing. It pulls people together, the community. We put volunteers in the community together to help a person in need. That's what we do.
That's incredible. That's incredible, and it's really neat, and it's really exciting too that you guys get to work so closely with people here in the community to help get what they need to get to keep their home for one.
Sure.
So that's incredible.
Absolutely.
You guys have a project going on right now, or you just recently were given some?
I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, go ahead.
For the first time, we've taken on, because I have retired / career launch party the other night. I had about 125 friends show up, so it was a good time.
That's awesome.
We filled up boonies.
That's awesome.
It was a fun time, and but so I stepped into it full time. I don't work swing shift anymore. I've been on swing shift since 1977. Okay, now I'm not on swing. Now I'm working full time with Rebuilding Together, and the timing was just perfect. The city has a home. There has a house there on 7th and Mulberry. Used to be the old Safe Streets house. We've taken that over, and we're going to go in and put an HVAC unit in it and modify it so that we turn that into a 2-bedroom home. Somebody will come along and buy it, and money comes back to us so we can put it in another house next time.
Incredible. Yeah, that's incredible. So it's a nice cycle there. You guys are going to go and you're going to do the work, and then when the house is actually bought and sold, it's going to be able to pay for another project sometime down the road. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So you guys get to help families all through the community. You said you've done in the last 12 years you've done over 100 projects, right?
Yes.
So that's all localized right here in Muscatine.
Muscatine County. We worked out in West Liberty. We've done 3 projects out there. There's another one we need to get to. Another ramp needs to be put in. We build a lot of wheelchair ramps. People are either injured or they have a disease, and so they need to easy access in and outside their house. There's one right now that we really need to get to, but we can't put a team together at this time because now we've got 5 inches of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
So we need to wait a little bit on that, but we will eventually get that one put in, and then we've got about 7 projects right now waiting on us to do at the end of April.
Gotcha, and that's when that big day is going to happen. Is that April date? That's awesome, and I'm very excited to see. Folks, I really got to say, this seems like a great cause. You definitely should be a part of. I know there's stuff like Day of Caring happens too throughout the year, but this is another great one that you should get out there and give a little bit of your volunteer time too, because it's definitely worth it to help somebody get into a home, keep a home, something like that, keep people in their houses. That's awesome.
Yep, get in and out, and just. A ramp can mean so much to somebody. It's the difference in trying to get a lady or a gentleman into the home. You have to a wheelchair. They're a total invalid. They can't move. They're parts of their body. So we put a ramp in, and our ramps are built ADA standards, of course. We build the Minnesota ramp building system. There are certain modular sizes. There's 42 by 8 and a 4 by 4, or 4 by 42 and a 5 by 5 for a 90-degree turn, and then a 5 by 8 complete turnaround for 180. And so with those 4 combinations, we can build any configuration of ramp we need. And it's just for every inch up at the threshold, we have to put a foot of ramp to get it to the ground for safe, so that somebody can get in and out, be pushed up, or their motorized scooters in and out of the home.
That's it's surprising just how much has to go into just putting in a ramp, right?
It has to be well laid out, but I work with engineers from Hahn, from Arconic, they call it now. Used to be Alcoa. I've got guys. There's one of our house captains. Each project has a house captain, and so we're in need of qualified house captains that know building, that can go in and assess a situation and know what to do next. But we work with certain house captains that they're in charge of the project. The project manager's in charge of all the projects, and then I'm in charge of the whole thing. So it's layered for security and layered for safety. Make sure that everything is done according to what we need to have it done, how we need to have it done. And but we go into a project, we assess what needs to be done, and put the material together, get all the everything that we need for that project, put it on a trailer, and take it to that address, unload it, and have a team standing by and put this thing together.
That's awesome.
We can now, because we build them ahead of time. I work with actually last year for the first time, and now this year it's grown like a lot of things do. I'm working with students out of West Middle School and Central Middle School, the junior high kids, that they come to our shop over here on Hauser Street. We've got all the lumber and everything is cut to dimension where it needs to be, and then we teach them how to build these ramp sections. And then we stack them up in our pole barn, and then that way the guys pull up with a trailer, and they need 3 pieces of the 42 by 8. They need 1 of those, and they need 2 of those, and they load them up, and it goes, and it cut our building on site down by, I don't know, half or more, because the pieces are already built ahead of time. You know, and the students learn. I said, how many here have ever run a cordless drill? None of them. Before the end of the day, they knew how to run cordless drills. But we teach them what size screws go in here, and then I work math into it all the time. Okay, I got a 14-foot board here. How many 42-inch sections can I get out of this one board type thing? And they rack their brains, and they come up with the answers. You know, and it's just a lot of fun to watch them come in the door not knowing anything. And when they leave after 2 or 3 hours, they know that they have accomplished this.
Yeah.
And it's just a real good feeling on their part, but on my part. I like to watch them learn. I like to watch students learn.
Yeah. And it's another cool thing about it is when you're not just getting involved with people in the community that need the help, but you're also getting to work with the volunteers or getting to work with these students to get them because that's an important skill to have. You know, surprisingly enough, you know, not everything can be done for you nowadays. You know, sometimes you got to be able to do stuff on your own. So. Right.
Well, these students, I've watched them every class we've had so far. After about the first section, we teach them how to build. Of course, we teach them what goes here next and when. And after about the second or third section, 1 or 2 of those students will take the lead. It happens every time. Now this boy says, okay, we need this size. Not that one, we need this one here. Or one of the young girls will come up and go, okay, we need some of these. So they're right there. So you put them over here. And no, you got to use these screws. And they take the lead and start teaching their friends. You know, and that's really fun to watch develop. And it happens every time so far. You know, I'm sure it will. We're scheduled now for January, February, and March to have more classes come through. And then I have my house captains come in if they can get the day off. I've got lots of days off now, so but they'll get a day off and come in and actually spend the day with the students to teach them how to build stuff. Yeah, it's fun.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well,
of course, we give them pizza. You know, so
oh, hey, there you go.
That's pizza.
That's enough incentive right there to get most any kid to do anything.
Yeah.
So that's great. Well, Frank, anything else you really want to touch on? Let's remind everybody one more time that April 27th.
April 27th is our big day. That's the real big day. You know, and we have. I'd like to start teaching people between now and then. Men and women. We're actually going to have a women's build. My wife is working on it. We're going to have a ladies' build. They've done it in other cities. They've done it in New York and Boston, Massachusetts. I don't know where all, but it's just the entire project is designed and laid out by women, and so they come in and build it, and they can step back and say, we did that, and it's really a good thing. We've had youth builds in New York, and like I said, there's 145 affiliates nationwide. So we have youth build. We're not ready for a youth build here yet. We did have a lot of students help on a ramp last year, and we've worked with them, but we've not turned a project over to them yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So maybe someday.
Maybe someday. Well, that's excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us this morning, Frank. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Frank Iliff, the Executive Director from Rebuilding Together here in Muscatine County, stopping by to tell us a little bit about what they do and some of the projects that they've got coming up. Thanks again, Frank. It's been great having you in.
Thank you.
This has been Moving Forward, brought to you by Muscatine Power and Water. Experience the best value in entertainment and connectivity with MockLink Internet and TV from MPNW. New subscribers save big on TV or internet. Even more when you take both. Learn more at mpw.org. Again, I'm Jordan Davis. Thanks so much for joining us here on the voiceofmuscatine.com.